Hello and welcome to another video. Sorry if it's kind of echoing here, and this is a whole new room because I recently moved my office from the basement of my house to the top floor of my house where we have actual sunlight. Anyways, today is day one of Summerween and I'm so excited. I've been looking forward to this for like a month. I'm just really excited for fall this year and I'm just not enjoying summer and I'm not enjoying the summer vibes. It's too hot where I live. It's not a good time. Before I forget, the hosts of Summerween are going to be linked below with their channels and their announcement videos. It's just Olivia reads a latte and Gabby reads like usual. They host this every single year and I'm so happy for that. So let's get into the prompts and my TBR for this week. So there are 5 different prompts and I'm going to be double dipping in the prompts as I always do because I don't think I can read 5 books in a week. So the prompts are going to be read a book at night, read a thriller, read a book set in the fall, read a book with orange or black on the cover, and read a manga, graphic novel, or novella. I have 4 things on my TBR, but really only 2, 3, 2.5. You'll see what I mean. So the first one is The Guilty Couple by C.L. Taylor, and this is my thriller. It also has black on the cover. There's 2 in 1 right there. I'll probably end up reading some of this at night too. So this is a domestic thriller where the husband frames the wife for attempting to kill him. The book starts when she just gets released from jail. I have started this already. I got to page 58, but I started this probably 2 months ago, so I'm probably just gonna restart it for this readathon. The next book I have is an audiobook and it is Pumpkin Everything by Beth Labonte. This one I don't know too much about, but it's a short book, like maybe 5 hours, and it's about a horror writer, and I believe she's somewhere in New England, which is like perfect because I live in New England and I'm really excited about that. There's supposed to just be like a lot of Halloween vibes, and that's gonna be my book set in fall. I don't know 100% if it is set in fall the whole book, but I know at least part of it is because Halloween was in the description on Goodreads. That cover is also very orange, so there's that prompt too. So next I have my graphic novel comic book thing. I don't know what this is categorized as, and this is The Dollhouse Family. It's a Hill House comic, but there's like a ton of different authors. I don't know too much about this, but I know that the main character is this little girl, and this really ancient dollhouse gets sent to her, and the dolls inside of the house come to life and kind of want her to come live with them, I think. I'm not 100%. But yeah, so this is gonna be my graphic novel, and I'm probably gonna read the whole thing at night. Oh, also there's orange and black in this cover, so nailed it again. So right now I'm gonna start with Pumpkin Everything because I have to work still and I can listen to that audiobook while working at the same time. So yes, I might give another update today, but if not, I'll see you. Alright, so today is Monday. I didn't really film anything over the weekend, but I did go to the Christmas tree shop because they are going out of business and they have some of their fall stuff out. I'm imagining it's all the stuff that they had in stock that they were waiting to put out for this fall from last year or something, and I don't know, they're just selling it because they're going out of business. Anyways, I got this cute little pumpkin and I have already put it on my table because it's fall season now and I just decided that. I also got this cute little plant. I love it. They look so cute on my table. I also ended up watching the new Evil Dead movie and honestly don't recommend. Okay, so here's why. I think it's a really great movie. I think production-wise it's excellent. It's a good storyline, whatever. It's so gory and that's just not something that I can handle. I don't know, I watched all the Saw movies and I didn't really have a problem with them, but this movie was just on like a whole other level of gore and it didn't sit right with me. But if that's your thing, go for it. Like, I think it's production-wise, it was really great. Anyways, in terms of reading, I made it to chapter 11 in Pumpkin Everything. So I'm about like 30% of the way through, like not too far, but enough where I know where the storyline is and I can get a feel of the characters. So what had happened is a main character, Amy, comes from this little town in New Hampshire called Autumnboro, and it's perfect for this theme. It's perfect. So she planned on having this like fall themed wedding, but then she broke up with her fiance because she found out he was cheating on her. And she went back to Autumnboro to take care of her grandfather who got into a car accident and got injured. So she's just there to make sure he's okay. And so the reason why she had left Autumnboro in the first place was because her childhood sweetheart had lost his mother while they were still in a relationship, still in high school, and it affected him very much, as it does. As a teenager, she couldn't really handle all of that. She couldn't handle the emotions that he was processing, and she couldn't handle that she wasn't really number one, like his priority anymore. So she broke up with him and left. Like as soon as she could, she went to college somewhere else. And she had to come back for 10 years. But anyways, she comes back into the town and immediately her car breaks and just does not work anymore. And she calls a tow truck, and guess who comes to rescue her? It's her ex from her childhood. It's not automatically awkward. They kind of like, because they were friends for like a really long time before they became, you know, in a relationship. But yeah, so just kind of like seeing their dynamic and how she's kind of like looking into everything he's saying a little bit too closely. So far, like their dynamic is just really cute, and I'm waiting for them to get to that part of him asking why she left and stuff like that. Because like she keeps thinking that he's making digs at her for leaving, but I don't think that's what's happening. I think she's just feeling guilty because of like, you know, how the relationship ended, because it was kind of garbage the way it ended in my opinion. But like I understand they were teenagers and it'd be like that. Anyways, loving it so far. And I also made progress in The Guilty Couple. I'm on chapter 21, which is page 112. So I did say that I read part of this before and that I was going to start over for this like readathon, but I didn't exactly end up doing that. Like I went through the first 50 pages that I had, you know, previously read and kind of just skimmed through to remember who the characters were, how they relate to each other. And I actually remember a lot more than I thought I would. So it was nice not having to start from scratch. I kind of briefly explained before about what this book is and how it's a domestic thriller and how the wife was framed for trying to kill the husband. And then we're kind of just going through that where the wife is now out of prison and she wants a relationship with her daughter, but there's a restraining order against the husband. And I think that kind of extends to the daughter. So she's only allowed to have supervised visits, which is, you know, terrible for her. She doesn't want that. But also her daughter kind of thinks that she's also guilty. So it's tricky. And so the main character, Olivia, is now trying to find a way to clear her name, but in a way where she's being very careful about it because she doesn't want to go back to prison. And her ex-husband and the cop, Danny, that helped frame her are doing their best to try to stop Olivia from finding anything new and, you know, making sure she doesn't realize that they were the ones that framed her, or at least find evidence that would put them away. This one is pretty fast-paced and I'm enjoying the way it's going. Like each chapter is pretty short, but there's like a lot that goes on in each chapter. So I'm just having a fun time reading this one. The plans for today is I want to read the majority of Pumpkin Everything. I could probably finish it today. It's not a long audiobook at all. And I only have like, I think 2.5 hours left. Also, today is a very rainy, cloudy day, and I'm gonna use that as my reading a book at night / reading a book in the dark, because you know, the sun hasn't come out today, so it's gonna be like dark and dreary all day. And that's gonna be perfect for reading in the dollhouse. I'm so excited. But yeah, that's it for now. Alright, Summerween is officially over. I mean, technically it ended a few days ago, but I just haven't gotten around to finishing this video. I ended up finishing both of these books, and we'll start with this one. So I remember I gave like an update about halfway through, but don't remember exactly what I said. I don't really want to give anything else away. I don't know, I felt a little bit disappointed with this one. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars because I really enjoyed all of the buildup, but the climax just wasn't, I don't know, that intense. Like, it just ended. Like, I mean, there was like a big thing that happened, and like, you know, the things that happen at the end of thrillers is what happened, and I don't want to give anything away. I don't want to say what happened at all because I hate giving spoilers to thrillers, and I hate accidentally finding spoilers to thrillers. But I was just disappointed. Like, I felt like there was so much buildup and then not a big enough event happened, if that makes any sense. So 3.5 stars. And now for the Dollhouse. So this one, I didn't actually end up reading it at night, but the other day it was like super rainy and super stormy, and it was so dark out here, like you couldn't see the sun at all. You had to like use lights inside the house like during the daytime in order to read anything. So I just like ended up reading this by the window with like a little bit of candlelight, and it was just a good time. So I really enjoyed that. So now on to the story of the Dollhouse. This is another one that I don't really want to give away too much, and I did enjoy it to an extent, but I was also a little bit disappointed. I ended up giving this one 3 stars because I liked the idea of it, but not the execution. I don't want to give anything else about the storyline. Like, what I gave before, that's enough. Like, you don't need any more. It's better to go into this kind of blind. But the reason why I didn't enjoy the execution is because there was like 2 different storylines that were happening at the same time. One was from like the 1800s, and then the other one was like late 90s, early 2000s. And the storylines were just going back and forth too quickly, and I felt like I couldn't really get into one storyline before we were switching into another. So this is kind of example where this one page is one storyline, this one page is the next storyline, and the page right before this is the second storyline again. So you only really get like one half page, one full page, whatever, of one storyline before it jumps back to the next. And that was just happening too often to where I was being brought out of the story too much. So there's this part at the end of the book where the main character of the present kind of figures out what happens in the past. And I think that would have been a better time to kind of show everything that happened in the past instead of showing what happened in the past at the same time as showing what's happening in the present. I don't know, I felt like it was too all over the place, and I was just getting too distracted. It did have some like really spooky scenes, and it had a couple of moments that were kind of like creepy. So it like fit that kind of Halloween spooky vibe. I just didn't love it as a whole. But yeah, so that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Tell me